The history of Russia is a vast and complex subject that spans centuries of political, cultural, and social developments. We will provide an overview of key historical events and periods that have shaped the country we know today as Russia. 1. Early history and the rise of the Russian state. The roots of Russian history can be traced back to the ancient East Slavic tribes that inhabited the region in the 9th century. The Varangians, Scandinavian warriors and traders, played a crucial role in the formation of the early Russian state. Rurik, a Varangian prince, established the first ruling dynasty, known as the Rurik dynasty, in Novgorod. The reign of Vladimir the Great in the 10th century marked a significant turning point in Russian history. He adopted Christianity as the state religion and initiated the Christianization of Kievan Rus, the early Russian state centered in Kiev. This decision had a profound impact on the cultural, religious, and political development of the region. However, in the 13th century, Kievan Rus fell under the Mongol rule of the Golden Horde. The Mongol invasion had a profound impact on the region, with Mongol domination lasting for nearly 2 centuries. Despite this period of subjugation, it also fostered a sense of unity among the Russian principalities, setting the stage for the emergence of a unified Russian state. 2. The Muscovite era and the rise of Moscow. The rise of Moscow as the center of power in Russia began in the 14th century. The princes of Moscow gradually expanded their territory and consolidated their authority. Ivan III, also known as Ivan the Great, played a pivotal role in asserting Moscow's independence from Mongol rule. He defeated the Golden Horde and declared Moscow the Third Rome, claiming the spiritual and political legacy of the Byzantine Empire. Ivan IV, also known as Ivan the Terrible, marked a significant period in Russian history. His reign from 1547 to 1584 saw both territorial expansion and internal turmoil. Ivan expanded Russia's territory, adding regions such as Kazan and Astrakhan, and established a centralized autocratic rule. However, his policies, including the Oprichnina, a system of state repression, led to political instability and social upheaval. 3. The Romanov dynasty and Imperial Russia. The Romanov dynasty, which began with the ascension of Michael Romanov to the throne in 1613, ruled Russia for over 3 centuries. Under the Romanovs, Russia continued its territorial expansion, particularly under Peter the Great, 1682 to 1725, and Catherine the Great, 1762 to 1796. Peter the Great initiated a series of reforms aimed at modernizing Russia and transforming it into a European-style power. He implemented changes in various aspects of Russian society, including military, administration, education, and culture. Peter also moved the capital from Moscow to St. Petersburg, which became a symbol of Russia's westernization. Catherine the Great's reign saw further territorial expansion and cultural flourishing. She presided over a period of enlightenment and patronized the arts, literature, and education. Catherine's rule also saw the partitions of Poland, through which Russia gained significant territory in Eastern Europe. 4. The Napoleonic Wars and the Decembrist Revolt. The early 19th century witnessed a dramatic event in Russian history, the invasion of Russia by Napoleon Bonaparte's Grand Armée. In 1812, Napoleon launched a campaign to conquer Russia, but his forces were defeated by the Russian army and the harsh Russian winter. The Napoleonic Wars not only showcased Russia's military prowess but also fueled a sense of national identity and patriotism among the Russian people. In the aftermath of the Napoleonic Wars, Russia experienced a period of social and political unrest. The Decembrist Revolt of 1825, led by a group of liberal-minded military officers, sought to challenge autocratic rule and advocate for constitutional reforms. Although the revolt was suppressed, it demonstrated the emergence of political opposition and the growing demands for change. 5. Emancipation of the serfs and industrialization. One of the most significant events in Russian history was the emancipation of the serfs in 1861. Under the rule of Tsar Alexander II, the serfs, who were essentially agricultural laborers bound to the land, were granted their freedom. This reform aimed to address social and economic inequalities and modernize Russian society. The late 19th century witnessed rapid industrialization in Russia, particularly in sectors such as railways, mining, and heavy industry. This industrial growth led to urbanization and the rise of the working class. However, it also exacerbated social tensions and discontent, leading to the emergence of revolutionary movements and labor unrest. 6. Revolution in the Soviet era. The 20th century brought profound changes to Russia, marked by revolution, political upheaval, and the establishment of a communist regime. The Russian Revolution of 1917, led by Vladimir Lenin and the Bolshevik Party, overthrew the tsarist autocracy and paved the way for the establishment of the Soviet Union. The years following the revolution were characterized by a civil war between the Red Army, Bolsheviks, and the White Army, a loose coalition of anti-Bolshevik forces. The Bolsheviks emerged victorious and established a one-party communist state. Under the leadership of Vladimir Lenin and later Joseph Stalin, the Soviet Union pursued rapid industrialization and collectivization of agriculture. These policies were accompanied by political repression, forced labor camps, gulags, and mass purges that resulted in the deaths of millions of people. 7. World War II and the Cold War. During World War II, Russia, then known as the Soviet Union, played a critical role in the defeat of Nazi Germany. The Soviet Union suffered immense human and material losses but emerged as a superpower and one of the victors of the war. The post-war period marked the beginning of the Cold War, a geopolitical struggle between the Soviet Union and the United States and their respective allies. The Soviet Union exerted its influence over Eastern Europe, establishing communist governments in countries such as Poland, Hungary, and East Germany. This division between the Eastern Bloc and the Western Bloc defined much of global politics during the second half of the 20th century. 8. Perestroika, Glasnost, and the collapse of the Soviet Union. In the 1980s, under the leadership of Mikhail Gorbachev, the Soviet Union embarked on a series of reforms known as perestroika, restructuring, and glasnost, openness. These reforms aimed to revitalize the Soviet economy and political system, while also allowing for more openness and freedom of expression. However, the reforms also unleashed political and ethnic tensions within the Soviet Union. Nationalist movements in various Soviet republics demanded greater autonomy or independence. In 1991, a failed coup attempt by hardline communist leaders further weakened the central government. Ultimately, the Soviet Union dissolved in December 1991, leading to the emergence of independent nations, including the Russian Federation. Boris Yeltsin became the first president of the newly formed Russian Federation, marking a significant transition in Russian history. 9. Russia in the 21st century. Since the turn of the millennium, Russia has experienced various political, economic, and social developments. Vladimir Putin, who succeeded Boris Yeltsin, has been a dominant figure in Russian politics, serving as both president and prime minister. Under Putin's leadership, Russia has sought to reassert its influence on the global stage. The country has faced international scrutiny over issues such as human rights, media freedom, and geopolitical conflicts, particularly in Ukraine and Syria. Economically, Russia remains a major player in the energy sector, being one of the world's largest producers and exporters of oil and natural gas. However, the country has also faced challenges, including economic crises and sanctions imposed by Western nations. In recent years, Russia has been focused on modernizing its military capabilities and asserting its interests in areas such as the Arctic and cybersecurity. It continues to navigate its role as a major global power and its relationship with other nations in an evolving geopolitical landscape. In conclusion, the history of Russia is a complex tapestry of political, social, and cultural developments that have shaped the nation's identity. From its early roots as an East Slavic state to the rise and fall of empires, revolutions, and the challenges of the modern era, Russia's history is a testament to its resilience, diversity, and ongoing quest for stability and global influence.